Hello and welcome to the Red Phone Zone. I am one of your hosts, Ethan, and today I'm going to give you confessions on X-Men First Class, the newest addition to the X-Men movie franchise from Fox, from 20th Century Fox. This movie is directed by Matthew Vaughn, and is it is firmly a prequel to the X-Men films. It is not based on any comic book series or anything like that. It is firmly set in the X-Men universe, and that's something you really need to understand before you go see this movie. It is full of some great actors, honestly. James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, Kevin Bacon, tons of people in here. Oliver Platt even is in the film for a while. This is also fresh off of Matthew Vaughn coming off of Kick-Ass to come and do this movie, and we've heard a lot of rumors about how Fox was heavy-handed in this film, and I can understand why they do that and how they do that. But honestly, the movie was really good. I really enjoyed it. It firmly set the X-Men in history, in a very dramatic historical setting with the Cuban Missile Crisis, and sort of supplanted them in there as far as a good metaphor as to what was going on, as you had the X-Men being formed to deal with this crisis and to deal with to help avert this horrible disaster. There are a lot of leaps of faith in the movie where you have to sort of ignore some little plot things, but ultimately it's a fun movie. I really enjoyed it. I intend on picking it up when it comes out on Blu-ray. The nice thing about this movie is it's also marks the return of Bryan Singer, who helped develop the story and also was a producer on the film. If you all remember the first X-Men movie, the very beginning of it, where Magneto and his parents are being sent into the concentration camp, they actually refilmed that whole scene for this movie, almost shot for shot, but with new actors in it, and it really worked well. I'm curious as to whether or not Bryan Singer actually did anything with that, was actually involved in really reshooting that stuff, but it's sort of beside the point. I know on the show we've been very cautious about this movie, and you know, I was really kind of worried about if it was going to be any good, if it was going to be kind of crappy, but ultimately it was quite good. I think my personal favorite character in the movie is going to be Michael Fassbender. I think Michael Fassbender does a really good job playing Eric Lensher of Magneto, and sort of developing this character. I like how his helmet comes into play. The helmet's actually not developed for him; it's developed by the Russians for Sebastian Shaw's character, and eventually Magneto ends up with it. The costumes in it. One thing I noticed about X-Men 3 was that when Brett Ratner came in, I'm sure he brought in some of his own people, and probably when Bryan Singer left to go to Superman, he took some of his own people, and the costuming and sort of the ambiance of the movie was a little different. So it was different from X-Men 1 and 2. This movie goes back to being a lot more in the color palette and in the feel of X-Men 1 and 2. I wouldn't say it's as good as X-Men 2, but I'd say it is as good as the first X-Men pretty easily, actually. I really enjoyed it. It was actually really a lot of fun. I was really going in with some expectations of it being really kind of crappy. You really need to disconnect yourself from the comic books and say, yes, this is based loosely on the comic books, but it is the movie universe. So I mean, some of these characters don't make sense being in the X-Men or whatnot, but quite frankly, how many times have they retconned the X-Men or retconned comic books in general? This is just something people need to get over. I can see people being really pissed off about Havoc being in the movie, and I honestly want people to just deal with it. He is Alex Summers. They don't establish him as Scott Summers' brother, but I know in the comic books Alex Summers is the younger brother. It's a fun movie. It really is. In the vein of its own universe, and it's just it's kind of nice. This is my third confession in a row that I've basically been able to say this is a fun movie, this is entertaining, this is some good summer fare, go see this and have some fun. Don't expect the sun, the moon, and the stars, but you know, it's a good movie to go watch and be entertained by. I'd say that's my 2 cents on X-Men First Class. Go check it out.